Hope in my
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Doctor. How are you? Sorry, I didn't open my microphone.
Your sound is weak. Please justify volume of your mic.
I'm sorry about that because I'm opening my Adobe from my phone.
No
If
problem.
my sound is clear.
It's okay.
Okay. I'm Ahmed Sami. My last education it's engineer, computer engineering from University of Diyala. That's
Okay. The next Mrs. Hannah, please turn on your mic and introduce yourself, your previous university, your previous field of study.
talk with me.
Mrs. Hannah, please speak. Please turn on your mic.
Okay, sure.
Okay, we postpone this introduction for next time. I start my course, software testing. Let me see. Show is like, okay, introduction to software testing is the title of my course. In this course we talk about some principles and concepts about software testing, such as test case design, test case execution, test case evaluation, and test case reporting. This is for activity of test engineering in software testing. The main reference of our course is the Introduction to Software Testing, published by Paul Ammon and Jeff Offutt. This is the book link, introduction, introsoftwaretesting.com, and very good materials about this code is found in this link from George Mason University. This is the main course of the most university in the world in software testing course. The concepts taught in this book include some preliminary concepts about software testing and a very considered in this book and some not. Operations of software or Jeff Offwood. Some materials that miss this page. The more important links in this page is because PowerPoint slides in this page, chapter by chapter, to our class with testing software or software. This chapter is taught by Mr. Offwood. He is the professor, full professor of software testing in George Mason University. Some of the sections are taught by Paul Amon. Also, he is a full professor of software testing, also in George Mason University. You can download these materials and use them for support my teaching materials. There is a student solution manual for exercises presented in a book. You can use them to solve my exercises. And the other materials could be useful for you is some support tools, support software presented in this section include graph coverage web application. This is applicable in the chapter 7, or data flow coverage web application, logic coverage web application, DNF logic coverage web application in chapter 8, or a specific tool, a special tool for mutation testing, namely MuJava. This tool constructed by Offwood team, and this is applicable in our course and useful for our purposes in this course. Further presented in this last section or course, we focus on this semester 2019 from Mr. Amon, or 2019, the spring semester of Offwood. The math presented in their classes is presented in these links. You can use the video materials and lecture notes presented in the page for supplement of my speaking. Okay. Let me return to my slide. Software testing. My grading policy in this online course divided into 4 sections. Final exam of your 20 points, exercises and class activity, 4 points of your grade. Study and your presentations in class just have a 6 point, and practical project has a 4 point. Some keywords in this slide are presented for you to search and download recently published papers in this area. This keyword includes concepts such as test data generation approaches. You can search and download recently published papers and send for me to approve it. The next keyword could be software fault localization. This concept for in this year. Recently, researchers also focused in software fault prediction, mainly focused on machine learning approaches in prediction of faults of the software. Recently, many areas. Security testing and penetration testing is the two for search, and software testability, regression testing, test design, mutation testing. Some new concepts and new trends in testing of cloud systems, IoT or Internet of Things systems, big data and machine learning. There are newly concepts in software testing. Researchers in very universities work on GUI and mobile and web application testing are keywords. Search these keywords and download your favorite papers and send to me for approving them. Then you can present your papers in the class for the section of study and presentations in the class. Please mic and speaking if you have my presentation. You're writing some messages. Let me see your message. No, we study some chapters of the book. I will introduce the book for you. This is the book. I downloaded the PDF version and send this PDF to WhatsApp group for you. Name of book is Introduction to Software Testing, Paul Ammon and Jeff Offwood, published by Cambridge University in 2017. Okay, 2017. And some of chapters we will teaching for you includes the chapters 1, chapter 2 and chapter 3 in part 1, which includes some foundations of software testing, some preliminary materials of software testing. In the first chapter we talk about why do we test our softwares, what's this cost of no testing in the industrial, and in the second chapter the concept of model-driven test design is taught. This includes some activities in test engineering, such as test design, test automation, test execution, and test evaluation activity. In the third chapter, we introduce test automation concept. I teach how we written a test script mainly in JUnit platform for Java program. This one of the main chapters of the book introduce skill, practical concepts that could be used in industrial. I think I don't have enough time for teaching chapter 4, and chapter 4 is presented by a video material in the page of the book. You can use this material, these video materials for chapter 4. So the next chapter of my talking is chapter 5, criteria-based test design. I introduce some rules for generating test data from software artifacts such as source code, such as a model of your products, formal models or UML models of your products, such as activity diagram or control flow diagram, data flow diagrams. Some chapters next I teach for you located in part 2, namely coverage criteria. I will taught 4 structures for coverage criteria in test design. The first structure is input in space partitioning 6, and the next one is coverage criteria, graph coverage structure presented in chapter 5, and the last 2 chapters we are going to present for you is chapter 8 and chapter 9 include logic coverage or syntax-based testing. Some complementary materials are presented in part 3, but I don't have enough time. My previously experience showed that in this course only I could speak about the first 2 parts of the book, except chapter 4, and you can use the remain chapters for your study and presentation if you want. Mainly you can research on concepts such as test doubles. There is some online courses about this concept in Coursera. You can use them and represent materials in the class if you want. And some concepts such as regression testing and evolving software, change management, change prediction. This is some concept that you can select for your study and representation in the class, or some other concepts such as test oracles, problems and challenges. In let me see, read some of your other messages you send. Okay, this suggestion is very good. I hope I do this suggestion. I try to record the lecture and upload them to you for you. The next message is a question about how many chapters. All of chapters I talk about is 8 chapters. Chapters 1 through chapter 9, except chapter 4. So we talk about 8 chapters of the book. The next message, please record the lecture and upload. Okay, I try to do it for you. The next session I would record the lecture and send for you. Okay, no problem. Because of your suggestion, I won't let me to record my first lecture and send for you. I hope I can present better. I hope I introduce contents properly for you, and this session I don't continue for my materials. If you have any question, you could speak or send a message, talk about your ideas, your opinion, or your questions. So let me to finish my speaking, and we are going to continue the lecture offline and record the lecture for and send for you. So I finish this session. As the final point of my talk, please search about the keywords I have introduced in this session for, and please send me your favorite papers about introduced concepts and keywords. And prepare your presentation for the class. Your presentation could be started about 3 or 4 weeks later. You have enough time to perform your works on the paper, on your selected paper. Okay, I would send materials such as a PDF of the book, PDF version of the book in WhatsApp group. The link of WhatsApp group is there. This is the link of WhatsApp group. Please join this group. Okay, if you have no problem about okay, Mr. Ahmad, you can speaking.
Doctor, I have a question. If this material, I see it have Internet of Things, and machine language, I think. Could you yes, could you please presentation the content of this material, if it have logical or mathematical, or just the presentation of the IoT?
Just representation in our IoT. This is advanced concept. My connection was lost. Do you have my sound? Okay. Let me share my slide. Talk question. My main concepts presented for you include some fundamentals and criteria for test data generation. So some advanced concepts remain for your IoT or Internet of Things testing applications. This is just for your presentation, and I don't want to talk about cloud or big data or all other these keywords in this slide. So you can select any one of these keywords for your perform your research, suggest your research papers for presentation in class. Okay. If and the class. Excuse me, and see you in the next